You ready?
Whenever you are.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for waiting. So, my name is Roger Phillips, and I'm the artist behind the Gray Zone cartoons. I've been doing it about 5 years now. A lot of young faces here. But if you guys remember The Far Side, Gary Larson, you remember him, and then, of course, Garfield. And then a big influence of mine is The New Yorker, the magazine. And they always reject my cartoons. So. Anyway, so I said a few years ago I wanted to be a cartoonist, and my father suggested aliens. And you'll see why as I start the presentation. Okay, here we go. All right, so there I am sleeping in my Star Wars sheets, and up on the wall you could see some cartoons that I copied from Mad Magazine. I don't know if you guys remember a cartoonist named Don Martin. Yeah. Okay, so he was a big influence, so I just copied him just right out, and I pasted it all over my walls and so on. And that light on the wall right there, you see there, that would fall on my head when I'm moving. So that probably also explains a lot. Okay, why aliens? Well, there's Roger, the alien, so it's probably ordained that I should draw them. Okay, so my first exposure to UFOs and alien phenomena was that famous sighting in the Hudson Valley of New York. I'm from New York, by the way. So I came all the way out to the West Coast to see all you guys.
All right.
Yeah. So this was supposed to be one of the largest mass sightings in UFO history. Supposedly 10,000 people saw it. We have these high-tension wires near our house, and we saw that boomerang-shaped, hold on, here's an animation, there it is, going over our house. And I was in high school then, and my friend calls me up, go outside, there's something out there. And, very silently gliding in the sky were those lights. And it was attributed to, what are those called, ultralight airplanes. But there was no sound, and then the stars behind it, was a clear night, were blocked out as it passed over our head. And it continued down. There's a famous parkway in our area called the Taconic Parkway, and it goes down to New York City. And then that followed those lines all the way down to the Con Ed station, way down in New York City. All right, so there I am, getting some psychological help, And so I'm contemplating, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to do these aliens. I'm going to do it daily, and I'm going to put them online. So I started off with making these little statues. I used to travel to China quite a bit, and everything's made there now, sadly. So when I had a real job, we were visiting these factories. They make resin statues and resin whatever you could imagine. So afterwards I said, would you work with me? They said, yeah, sure. So I made these line of statues. That one's called Crash Landing in Roswell, in New Mexico. And this is pretty funny that people are so astute online, and that knowledge you get just from being online. You can see there's a cactus there in the corner. It's a saguaro, and saguaros are not native to New Mexico. They're Arizona. So I was schooled. And I said, oh, all right. So people are really, they know their stuff. So, but that sold out. So I made 100 of those crash landing type of things, and then they sold out. All hand painted, amazing. The artists there. So I would design it, and they would create it. Quick funny story. So as I had to have them imported, they had names like crash landing in Roswell, moon landing conspiracy, and then this is people are still sensitive after 9/11, of course. And then the Department of Homeland Security confiscated all my boxes. And then it looked like something out of the X-Files. That green tape was around them. They opened them up, and then they held them in the port of New York, until they were certain that it wasn't, some terrorist plot. But it finally made it to the United States. And then here's somebody collected all of them, so you can see all the statues that I did. There's the barn encounter, carjackers. There's the moon landing conspiracy. It's hard to see, but he's hiding behind that moon rock. That's a Hangar 18. You guys remember that movie, Hangar 18? So he's kind of peeking in for his spaceship, and of course there's the crash landing. It was a big moment when it appears on the Big Bang Theory. So you can see it over Penny's head next to Catwoman. So there it is on TV, and there's Priya and Leonard. And then I like it when they move Catwoman over. So I could show my statue over there. Okay, so I talked about influence. So there's Don Martin, and I loved his style and the sound effects. And then all those motion lines you see around his fingers and things like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. And here's a New Yorker. And Sam Gross, I love him. He's been working since the 70s, and I just love his style. So there's a nice alien cartoon he did. And there is the Far Side. You guys probably recognize that one. But, I love that one. So I said, oh, I want to be like that guy. So I'm trying to follow in their footsteps. So early on, they were black and white, and I thought, I was just lazy. So I said, I'll just start with black and white, and move on from there. And here's a couple ideas. So, hi, honey, how was Roswell? And of course, the bunnies multiplying inside the ship until eventually one of them takes over. You see some pop culture references. There's Batman. So they're ready to catch him. There's a little kid playing in the sand. He wouldn't build sandcastles. He'll build, pyramids. A moai. Oh, by the way, I didn't know what the word gray meant until I started drawing it. People said, oh, you're drawing grays. And I said, yes, yeah, sure. And then they said, well, there are grays, there are whites, who are more like spiritual beings, and these are the physical ones, and these are the very stoic guys, And then I thought that would be a good vehicle for humor because they play the straight man and the goofy guy at the same time. And they're supposed to be these perfect beings. So when they have foibles that humans have, I thought it was kind of a funny situation. So here they say. And I spent a little time, all the birds are having conversations with each other. So there's a bit of a flaw. A little bit of a nod to Star Trek, remember when they hit their ship in Central Park? So I'm starting to add a little splash of color there, and people are saying, stop being lazy, put some color in there. So my very first publish was in the local penny saver. I don't know what they call it out west. You know what I mean, handyman, you advertise your car, things like that. So it was like, yes, I'm finally in print. In the recycling bin. Okay, so now color finally comes.
50 grades in the sand.
And you know what, again, I thought I drew 50, but apparently I only drew 49.
Oh, no.
And then people took the time to count all of them, and they wrote me letters. That's what's amazing about Facebook and Twitter and everything. Everybody, oh, by the way, you only have 49 there. I said, oh, no, there's one inside the tree. he's there. You just don't see it. So that was pretty neat. That was a fun one to draw. This actually, I had a different title, and then you know what's amazing about crowdsourcing? Like all of our brains together, somebody comes up with a funnier line, and that was a line somebody had come up with, like online. So I think originally I had with like my Uranus is particularly clear tonight, and then somebody suggested that one. Here's that Michigan J Frog, remember from little soft shoe. I knew I was onto something when people were getting tattoos. And I said, oh my God. And this nice young woman down in Florida, she got that tattoo of the alien, and she did it from a little thumbnail online. And I said, I would send you the bigger image, And that's from a staring contest the alien's having with the snake. And then she's going to have the snake on the other arm. So more power to you. And there she is, lovely young woman, and there's a tattoo. And she's a model for like a Sears or something. So I see her wearing like, Sears clothing, and then there's the alien on her arm. Okay. And then I like it when the kids send photos or drawings of what they've done. So I'm influencing another generation of alien artists. And of course, when it's in the office, you made it. It's printed out right next to the coffee. Now there's that famous little alien in Roswell, right? Roswell. And I was trying to get my books in that little gift shop over there, that famous gift shop. So this woman was a fan and a friend of mine, and then she went out there and convinced them to carry my books out there. So that was pretty cool. Here's a little collage of my experiences. I'm wearing that T-shirt over there. I was interviewed in the Roswell radio, like our classic rock, 95.5 in Roswell. And then I had a nice interview with like a deep baritone-based, DJ. So he sent me that T-shirt from there. So that was pretty neat. But that letter over there on the bottom left, that's from Apollo 13 astronaut Fred Hayes. Yeah, remember Apollo 13, the movie? I don't remember what actor played him. It wasn't Tom Hanks. Well, whatever. And then he wrote me a fan letter. Look at that, like an Apollo stationery. So I'm like, oh my God, that's wow. Okay, so that's an heirloom. I'm gonna hold on to that. So that made me feel very good. And he said he was the original alien because he went around. They were the furthest from the Earth. Now it's permeating all of my life. There I am on my birthday, and then somebody got me alien vodka. Oh, it's strong. And apparently it's filtered very smoothly through a 5 billion-year-old meteorite. That's very smooth vodka, and I can tell you it's strong. Here's my birthday cake. Okay, so I attend a lot of Comic Cons, and this is, by the way, the first Alien Con. You know, I was so happy when I saw this, you know, show up in my Facebook feed. I'm like, oh my God, you know, something just for this. I would go to all these cool Comic Cons, but they were Hulk, Superman, Spider-Man, and there I am with my Alien. Like, what is this? Who are these? You know, and then I did okay, but I think it was the wrong audience. So when this opportunity came, I said, I gotta take it. So far it looks amazing, you know, and then people here are like-minded and they get it. So I thought that was pretty neat. The animation's working. Look at the videos anyway. Okay, here I am buried in a needle in a haystack. That is the New York Comic Con. Somehow I weaseled my way in, and I was seated next to the guy who colors Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, Edgar Delgado. Nice young guy. And, you know, there he is, and he likes my stuff. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. I'm like, you're amazing. You know, I'm with Tim. Like, oh my God, you're a hero. And he was very kind and nice, and then we traded books. But there I am. And it was not a bad spot because I was near the bathrooms. So people had to come by. There he is on the upper right. That's the colors. He's from Mexico, and he actually works in Mexico. And, you know, everything's on the computer, of course, and then sends the files to Marvel. And one of the Comic Cons, like an alien showed up. That was pretty neat. And in the middle is Marina Sirtis. Am I saying that name right? From Star Trek. So I just gave her a book. I said, I'm a big fan of yours. And then I didn't realize she's British, and then a beautiful British accent. I'm going to read this on the plane on the way home, darling. So that made me feel great. Yeah. There's Patrick Stewart. Now I did a cartoon with him. Oh. I said Earl Grey. That was at the New York Comic Con, and there's a huge line for Patrick Stewart, of course, and William Shatner. And you know, you have to buy that headshot of him. And they said, Sir Stewart will only sign the headshot. He's not going to sign your T-shirt. He's not going to sign your chest. You have to only sign it. And a friend of mine is a big dude, and I was working the booth, and I said, please go and see if he'll sign my book with my cartoon. And thankfully he did. He had a nice sense of humor about it, and he liked it. So that was pretty cool. Oh, I'm sorry, let me go back to that. And then I met Greg Walker, who was Mort Walker's son, who of course does Beetle Bailey. So that was pretty neat. Another hero to me. So here's the process: sketching ideas on any piece of paper that you can get your hands on. And then I do an ink drawing, and then of course it goes into the computer, and I add the caption, and then any sort of background graphics to it. So. So for the longest time I had this cheap camera from Walmart, that I would hold it like on my tripod, and then with the AA batteries, then run over to the computer, put it in, and then finally I got the iPod or iPad, and then I said, oh, this is better and easier. Boom, and I emailed it to myself, so no more camera. So that's how that's done, and that's my little work area. Tons of Sharpies, and now Sharpie has these really cool brush markers, which are amazing because. For those of you who know artists and art supplies, they're so expensive, and those brush markers cost a fortune. So I was so happy when Sharpie came out with them, and they're like $1 a piece. Oh, and there's my cat Olive. Okay, if you're gonna do cartoons, you gotta do something about cats. If I know anything about the internet, it's the internet loves cats, right? Here's a 4-panel. I tend to do single-panel cartoons, but I see that the multi-panel ones do better many times. This one was, I started to do wordplay later on. This is one of the newer ones. Faux pas, faux pas. Boom. So I like the ones, I was reading a little bit from the New Yorker, and then Bob Mankoff said some of the hardest cartoons to do or to come up with are the captionless ones that don't have a caption. Because the viewer makes the story, right? And we hear, so I thought that was pretty neat. This was a recent one. Do you guys understand it? Yeah. So he would have 9 little grim reapers. A little dark. Well, it's Halloween. It's Halloween, so let's be fair. But that's Olive in the middle. She's kind of nice. She's my inspiration. Oh, this I started to post on Imager, is it right? Imager, and Reddit. And those people are the most brutal, cruel, mean people. You know, they're all anonymous. They don't have to give their name. They're so mean and cruel. And you know, oh my God, the things they say. You know, and then they can downvote you. You stink. You know, they said, oh, looks like Grandpa's list is leaking again, or stuffed dad posts. You know, you forwarded from Grandma. I'm like, oh. But I kept going on. So I like to put some famous characters in. I can get away with it. So they abducted all the famous characters. So there, Charlie Brown gave him that little. It's interesting when you're creating something. There has to be something that's somewhat known wide enough that people would get, and has common knowledge. So you know, Charlie Brown's always so great. All right, who understands this one? Say it.
The Power of Grayskull.
The Power of Grayskull. Yeah. So I entered that in a T-shirt contest, and I did not win. But it was pretty cool. Cafe Press or one of them. They have that. Yeah. I don't think enough people do. Originally Charlie Brown. And then I was considering making a sequel to this, you know, where Lucy has her revenge, you know, for the whole thing. And then she's going to be in the ship. The football will be there alone. He's looking around. And he goes to do it, and then the tractor beam yanks it. You know, and then he falls on his back, of course. This is, of course, New Horizons. You know, I try to be topical of whatever's happening, so the space program. No, I think we're good. See, I like that. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And then, I like that. I like when I have to read somebody's script. I like that. A little bit of a delay. I think that's Remember how Clark Kent? You can't tell it's Superman, you know. Oh my God! No, oh, it's you. I had no idea. This one did pretty well, and then people said, "Oh, it's the Red Baron." I said, "No, no, no. He flew the Sopwith Camel. Remember, he would fight the Red Baron." Yeah, some couple current events. I didn't do anything with it. Nothing with exploding. Sorry if anybody has a diesel. This one I had a lot of fun drawing. You know, I enjoyed making that dark smoke behind it. And I love Volkswagen. I've had about 10 of them. But well, let's see if this will work. So this, I had a job interview, a phony job interview for Orange County Choppers. Remember that show with the guy with the big beard and the tattoos and the muscles and so on? So a friend of mine was an associate producer and said, "Do you want to come on and, you know?" I said, "Yeah, sure." He says, "You can show your aliens." I said, "Okay." I don't know if the video's going to work, but there it is.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a little segment on TV. I don't know if it's going to work on this one, but let me see. Oh, but we have no audio. Well, can we have audio? So there I am.
Well, I think that's...
Well, anyway, so I'm going in.
I was told that would work.
So there I am. I'm talking. I'm trying to get a creative director position. And by the way, I am so nervous. He's like meeting Darth Vader. I mean, you come in and his feet are up on the desk like this. So there he is. He's looking at my book, and I get a drawing of him. And there he is. And he says, "You made me look fat." And then off the top of my head, thank God, I said, "Cartoons at 30 pounds." I was happy about that. No, I'm a motorcyclist, of course, so I rode my Harley over there, and then I had this backpack, and I stuffed it full of everything I could. So there's one of my stashes that I had done. And I'm a bit of a spaz, as you can tell, so I had about 9 cups of coffee, and I'm nervous. There again. And after the whole thing, he becomes so exhausted because I speak very quickly. There he is.
Yeah, you wore him out.
I wanted there he is. But that was pretty exciting to meet him, and he was a very, very nice person. A cool guy, so I have no qualms about going on it. Okay, so that's the cover of my newest book. I finally did a color book, by self-publish, which is very expensive. So you can see a ship crash way off in the distance, and there's, the men in black, and there's the men car. And this was nice. Somebody sent me a picture from their comic collection, and I'm honored to be next to the Calvin and Hobbes collection. And that's the pinnacle. And that's one of my newer books. That's the whole collection. The cartoon, somebody asked to put it on UFO Truth magazine. So that was pretty neat. And then I learned that, what is that called? I didn't know it before. Redacted. Yeah, I didn't know that word before. Somebody's like, oh, it's redacted. I'm like, I beg your pardon. But it is, so that's probably what it is. And the webmaster for Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson, yep, she said, a couple of your cartoons are relevant to what we're talking about. Would you? I said, absolutely. So they chose the mothership one again. But that's a great honor, and a lot of people get to see it. So that's good exposure. Fate magazine, they were showing my cartoons every week. They'll post something. And of course, there I am in the Roswell Daily Record. Of course, I tried a couple. No, I didn't get into the newspapers, but that was a nice milestone. It's small victories. I'm still unknown and unsyndicated. I almost said uncircumcised. Unsyndicated. So I'd like to do a few tributes. He's got the golden ticket for Mr. Wong. That one broke.
Oh, Willy Wonka. Oh,
yeah. But there's a little bit of humor because he only has 3 fingers. People took it upon themselves to translate the cartoons into different languages, so I thought that was pretty awesome. So there's Gato. I know that's cat. And then sometimes I see people if I post everything, I don't put any trademark or watermarks on it, and then they kind of chop up my stuff. Sometimes it's inappropriate though. They change the caption, or they take my name off it, and I don't like that. So this one's interesting. I like to make T-shirts and like mugs and so on, and then I go through Cafe Press or Zazzle, right? Zazzle, and then. Sometimes they infringe upon an existing copyright. Like you can't do an NBA logo with like an alien, because NBA will no, can't do it. So the funny thing is, they told me, Che Guevara, that's infringing, but Wonder Woman's okay. Like I can do one. Isn't that weird? So the communist leader, no, that's you're infringing. But Wonder Woman, go ahead. So I don't know what their standards are for taking it out. Okay, of course the aliens are known for the pyramid. So this is one of the earlier ones. So they really did help. So he's doing it wrong. Don't lock your knees. Somebody from Sweden wrote me a letter and said, there's no umlaut on the Y. In Swedish, it is also pyramid. I'm like, okay, we're Americans, we like it. It's so foreign. Poor guy. Just give him a little talk to the Pharaoh. A little status report. He's a much smaller pyramid. Of course, crops are. That's a great topic. Good Halloween one. Okay. So he's a doctor. Horrible handwriting. MD. It's too late. That's an ongoing battle, right, on the internet?
Yes.
I couldn't